From where we are right now, what do you see as the next place to be in when it comes to investment?
If we look at the India investment landscape, I think there are two perspectives. One is the underlying economic behavior that's playing out. And second, I think what is happening in the markets. India hasn't been in a better shape than it has been over the last 3 decades. I think Indian market, the good part is over optimism and over pessimism creates a lot of opportunities if you are a long-term investor. And you have to take advantage of that.
Welcome to Navigate with HSBC, where we spotlight insightful people and perspectives shaping the world of investing. From market outlooks to emerging opportunities like AIFs, we go beyond the headlines to help you make sense of what's moving in the investment landscape. Today, we're in conversation with Sumeet Narang, who's the founder and managing director of Samara Capital. Sumeet has played a key role in building businesses that drive real long-term value. Sumeet, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me over.
As we navigate, the best time to ask this question was, say, 10 years ago, and now the next best time is now. What is the current investment scenario looking like? I mean, the world is more volatile, more uncertain, but still there are structural trends that you're foreseeing. So from where we are right now, what do you see as the next place to be in when it comes to investment?
So I think if we look at the India investment landscape, I think there are two perspectives.
Yes.
One is the underlying economic behavior that's playing out. And second, I think what is happening in the markets. So I think underlying economy, India hasn't been in a better shape than it has been over the last 3 decades.
Yep.
I think a lot of forces have come together. I think post-liberalization, the policy reforms have only accelerated if you see every 5-year phase of India over the last 30 years. I think job creation across sectors, I think in terms of each sector becoming large and sizable as part of the GDP. It started with telecom, banking, media, and I think off late entire ecosystem on the startup side last 10 years. So sector after sector, I think the economic outlook of India has materially improved, the policy environment, political stability, and India being recognized as an important economic force.
Right.
I think has fallen in shape. So I think that structural trend will continue. I think markets are markets, and I think they are bound to be over pessimism and over optimism. And I remember 2012-13, when you were speaking about India in New York, they would say India is a basket case.
Yeah.
So I think that was what I would say. There was over pessimism about India. Then I think few years down the road to the outside world, it's the next biggest thing on the planet. So I think Indian market, the good part is over optimism and over pessimism creates a lot of opportunities if you are a long-term investor. And you have to take advantage of that. So I think in over optimism, monetizing is also an important part of the puzzle. You can't stay invested.
I take that point completely. Since you spoke about sectors doing well in India over the last 3 decades or so, the next big thing everyone's talking about is manufacturing. And there's reason for that. One, there is uncertainty around the world when it comes to, the tariffs emanating from the US, etc. The street is looking at supply chains shifting out of erstwhile manufacturing economies, and perhaps India could be a beneficiary of that. From your lens, do you see that happening?
It has been happening over the last 10, 15 years. The thing is, can it accelerate materially? If you see exports of, simple things like cables to air conditioning to automotive, it has increased. So I think the fact is that there are pockets of economy where manufacturing, textile, gems and jewelry has strengthened on a relative basis in terms of our competitive edge materially. I think given 1.4 billion people, the opportunity for blue collar job creation, urbanization, I think India has no choice but to solve both the infrastructure build out and the manufacturing side. I think different sectors will play out differently given the global landscape. So I think whether electronics manufacturing or semiconductor to, simple consumer durables to apparel, I think they each will have their own ecosystem pros and cons, but I think that is getting built. For us, I think business and political leadership has to come together to accelerate and capitalize on the movement of opportunity that is being presented to India. Now, from an investment landscape, how we look at it is as a first derivative effect.
Right.
So I think as manufacturing and infrastructure build out happens, businesses will need more logistics, businesses will need more staffing, businesses will need to be insured, and there'll be a need for insurance brokerage.
Alright.
So from a Samara perspective, I think we see business services catering to the manufacturing and infrastructure sector as a very strong first derivative effect. And that way, I think we don't have to rely on one particular industry taking off, which could be a slightly digital risk, whether this ecosystem will take off faster than the other. But overall, I think manufacturing and infrastructure build out, I think a lot of policy framework, capital, entrepreneurship is all coming together to make that happen in India.
That was so interesting. Thank you so much, Sumeet. It was a compelling deep dive. Thank you for taking your time out and more importantly, giving us honest insights around, the grounded take on markets as well as the investment space itself. And to our viewers, we have to tell you, thank you for being a part of this conversation. We'll be back soon with more voices, more ideas, and more to think about on another episode of Navigate with HSBC. Thank you for tuning in.